So today we're here with Nat, who's a great fish keeping friend of mine, and we've just done a huge fish room tour of your place, and there's some really, really cool guppies here. But it's amazing. Nat only keeps guppies, and I thought, what better an opportunity than to get some expert advice. I know you wouldn't consider yourself an expert yet.
Just like my experience.
Your experience on how to breed guppies and care for guppies. Nat's actually been recently on a trip to Thailand exploring farms and all that sort of stuff, everything related to guppies. So I'd consider you an expert.
Okay, thank you.
All of my guppies come from Nat. So let's just say you're a beginner and you want to get into breeding like just, you know, a line of guppies, not just throwing guppies in a tank, because that's what anyone can do. But like, say we've got guppies like these ones up here, which we've just taken a few of from my fish room. How would you go about breeding, caring for guppies if you were a beginner?
Okay, so you need to select the strain that you like. For example, we choose Sika Blue here. So you just have a look the main characteristic of the fish first. Look at like the body shape. If they, like in a good shape, in the, like if it balanced for the whole body. So you just, that sort of thing that you need to looking at. Get the healthy female, and they need to be active. The most important one is the fish need to be active. And then if, like they're floating somewhere in the corner, they may not be a good, the good choice.
So this is a perfect tank, like some really nice young fat fish.
Yeah, and then if you go to, for example, this tank. Yeah, let's have a look. That one, the one in the middle, the big one, even though it look big tail,
That's
you see that one?
Yeah.
That's not a good one because she's getting too old.
Yeah.
And then the way she swims is not that active compared to the other one. If you, tap, you can see straight away.
So it seems like that
respond to the, what do you call, stimulation, is that right?
They're like responsive.
Yeah, they're responsive.
So it seems like 90% of the success starts with the first purchase.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So the first pair that you select, you need to make sure that they're active, they're healthy, and then you just select the one you want, and then you start bringing them from that.
There is actually a bad example. Remember when you got scammed?
Oh yeah. For example, this is the example of the bad pair that you will get. For example, like that one, they seem active, but like the quality is not there.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Like the tail shape is not big, like what it's supposed to be. You probably won't select them.
So like, if you want to do like line breeding, it's best to come to a person like you, who's,
if you like breeding them, you cannot mix your guppy strain with other guppy at all. For example, if you go to your local breeder, you get the fish from them, you just keep breeding them. And then you cannot really mix with someone else. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Or with other strain.
It all starts with the first purchase.
Yeah.
So for instance, like the ones that we picked out today
Yeah.
are down here. So all of these were active, healthy looking fish
Yeah.
that are all young. The young part of them is also an important key for guppies.
Yes, I think age between like 3 months old to 4 or 5 months is the best age to breed. And if it's older than that, sometimes you may get like the fish with less quality out of them.
Yeah.
Or they don't produce enough, and then you just lose the strength.
Yeah, they are a very short-lived fish. Like I've seen
Yeah.
videos of other farms talking about like 3 months, they've got to get out the door.
That's correct.
2.5 months, 3 months, it's
Yeah, but
sell
for
time.
us, here by 2.5, 3 months, we need to start advertising it and then, release the fish out. Otherwise, I start with them.
So picking nice, young, healthy fish, good quality. Here we've got,
Yeah, this is the perfect one.
yeah,
The full black, very healthy and ready to go for breeding. I would say if you put in, like take it home, put it in a good tank, clean water, good food, probably in 2 or 3 weeks time, you probably get the first batch of fries. And then the first batch is always small. So you probably get less than 10 or maybe 15 as a maximum, but try to save them all, just in case you lose the parents.
So when we get to this stage, so
Yeah.
what are you feeding? Like when I get these home, what would you feed?
It's very common when you take the fish home and then they don't eat anything. I would say, sometimes the first day probably stop feeding them, and then the second day start feeding them either dry food or maybe dry shrimp if you have it. Flaked is fine.
Yeah.
So they will be
buffet.
alright. Buffet. That's something you can, feed them. And make sure you don't feed them a lot.
So-
Just, just enough.
So do you have a tank here where
Yeah.
you're trying to breed? I think we saw the albinos before. You're breeding a ton of albinos.
Yeah.
How are you trying to get your babies? A common issue with guppy breeding is
Yeah.
the females eating all the babies.
So the first option, the easiest one, is you put a little basket in like that.
Yeah.
But the most important one is you need to make sure that the basket has the hole at the bottom.
Okay, so you need to
That's
go.
the tip. Because like this can go into any direction.
Yeah.
And you don't want the basket to trap all the trash,
Yes.
all the waste in the tank. So when you're shaking it, all the waste just go down, and then it's easy for us to clean.
See, like this one here, the
Yeah.
Lazulis, they actually have a ton of babies inside of that basket
Yeah.
there. So
And then if there are a lot and you're afraid that you're gonna lose the baby, you just scoop them out and put in different tank. This is
Yeah.
the easiest one. And the other way is you notice your fish and you think like, well, that fish is ready. For example, like this koi, I'm not teasing her. You see that one?
yeah,
I think she's ready to go in a separate tank. So I just select, take her out and then put her in a small tub.
yeah.
And then for, to leave her in there and then to,
There was a really nice one we got footage of before, but she had like that squared off body.
yeah,
That's
I
the look.
think it is
It's over there.
in here. This one, she look ready because, like her tummy getting flat at the bottom now, look like a box shape.
Yeah,
And then I'll probably, consider to take her out. Even that one,
yeah.
yeah, I would, consider to take her out and put her in separate container to collect the fry. Because it's very common that the albino fish, they always eat the baby.
Yeah.
So you want, to collect most, you need to separate them out.
Okay.
And then when she alone, it's less likely that she's gonna, let the baby.
So you've got some over
Yeah.
here that you're showing us in the
This
tour.
is the example of what I have. So this is the koi that
Yeah.
I separated because I do know that she very juicy. Look at that, she very fat,
Rabid.
very
Yeah,
get the
pregnant.
tummy, pregnant.
So
So just put
she,
it there.
so you put her in like a little container like this.
Yes, you don't need to put in very very big one. The container like that is fine as well.
Yeah.
And just put, if you have water plant, just put it in there for the baby to hide or,
Just cover
yeah,
to make her feel safe and.
that's right. And then you put it in there. Once you notice that the fish giving birth, you just, leave her. I normally leave her for a day just to make sure that she release all the fry out. And then you just collect the fish back to the main tank straight away.
And you'll raise the babies in here for a couple of days.
I normally raise it in there for a week.
Okay.
And then breed them mainly dry shrimp to make sure that the reason is it's small tub, right? I want to make sure all the food is around the baby and the baby doesn't need to swim to fight for the food, and then they're gonna eat all the baby in there. The baby gonna eat all the food.
Yeah.
Yeah, in there.
So the confined space
Yeah,
means that all the babies can get access to the food easily.
yeah. And then once they, for example, like another tub there, I'll show you.
Yep.
I'm not. Let's have a look in here. This is the one that I collect.
Oh yeah.
This
wow.
is about a week now. I would say a week and a half. This one, they big enough. I need to remove it out of this tub to grow. So this means I want them to go faster. So I put it in either tub like this or
they'll
in a
just-
proper tank.
So they'll go into their grow out after
Yes,
that.
correct. And then, for example, like the koi that I just took out, I put it in, that
Have a look at this.
tub like that to grow them.
See how many there are in
And then when they're getting bigger, they're gonna be moved to a bigger tank. But
So-
if you don't have if you don't have a lot of room, right? You just keep, look after them in there. But you need to make sure that you feed them enough, the water is clean.
So feeding babies, how often do you feed your babies when they come in?
For the baby, I normally feed them twice a day.
Yeah.
And I think that is enough. But if you have time, just try to do the extra like 3 or 4
To
times.
make them grow more.
Yeah, and then it's gonna go faster.
And
but
then-
again, the more you feed them, the more polluted the water could be.
So more
So-
feeding obviously means that the water's going to get
That's
dirtier.
correct. You need to maintain the tank well.
And I think I've always talked about this when I breed fish, but like
Yeah.
feeding if you want to feed more, it's
Yeah.
always less but more often. So
That's
like
right.
overfeeding is way worse than underfeeding.
That's right.
But so like another thing, because guppies are obviously a beginner fish,
Yeah.
that's part of the appeal. I've actually noticed you don't actually need to use baby brine shrimp. Like it's
You
ideal.
don't really need to, but you
Yeah.
can use, for example, like good example, like your fish food, like pak buffet. Like anything that you can crush into a powder is very convenient as well. Just feed them. They normally nip on that powder.
And they'll eat that the whole life as well.
Yeah.
Like they can eat bug buffet day one
Yeah.
to day.
Until the
dead.
last day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to be honest, like they really like it. You can see it. I already feed the fish and show you already that how much
Yeah,
they love your
yeah.
pak buffet.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
But so and then you put a date on when they're
Yeah, I
born?
normally put a date on because I want to know
how their growth's going.
That's correct. And then if it's too slow or too fast, if it's too fast, I might be like in the right direction because you want your fish to grow very quick, right? And then they get bigger quick. You can sell them quick. That's it. What?
And when it comes to selling your guppies,
Yeah.
what's the best way do you reckon to sell guppies?
For me, I sell it on my Instagram. Is that the question you're asking?
I mean, yeah, you sell your guppies
Yeah.
on Instagram, but
Yeah.
say someone else wants to, like they just
you
have all
can-
these guppies and they don't know what to do.
Okay. So I think you can, for example, in Australia, right? You can post it in Gumtree. That's the only main site that you can post it
Yeah.
live animal, live fish. And then you can create your own Facebook page or Instagram. I think the good thing about having Instagram is you have the fish, right? You want to show everyone, your beautiful fish. Your fish is like your pet. You just want to show, everyone. And you can make the money on the side as well. Yeah, there will be people, contacting you and make sure that your fish has, like quality and look good, healthy. Of course, people will buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for my guppy, I need to point out though, like some of the strain is very difficult to breed because the female didn't give a lot of babies. So this is why the price of the guppy might be a little bit higher. And some of the strain is very, very rare, very hard to get around the world or even in Australia. So the price of the guppy is kind of high as well. So what I try to do at the moment is try to, breed them as much as I can. But sometimes things not going,
Well, I mean, you've done a good job with
direction.
these albinos. Like,
Yeah.
if you look in here, this is insane.
Yeah,
Like
so
up
this
the top
one,
here, this is crazy.
This is the albino koi. It's very, very popular at the moment. So I just, breed a lot of them. And I hope I get a lot of red ear out of them because they're coming from like the albino koi red ear. And yeah, just see in a few more weeks.
So I guess take home points, buying really good quality fish.
That's correct.
Yep. And then,
And also you need to know where your fish coming from. And then if it's not breeding through, you can go back to that breeder, hey, what's going on with this fish and things like that.
yeah. So like reputable breeder, if you can find it.
Yeah.
I think people need to know too, like we've paid a lot for these guppies,
Yeah.
but we're paying to have success later.
Yeah.
So like each one of these guppy pairs is $50 or something like, was it? 50 bucks for the
50
black?
bucks. Some of them is even more than that.
Yeah, even more than that. But that's totally worth it for me because there's a lot of love gone into these fish. I know that they're going to be healthy.
Yeah.
I know that I'm not going to have issues with them. So that to me is worth it. But like, yeah, it's like one thing to go to the shop, pick out a few and try and line breed them.
Yeah.
It'll never work.
No,
It's someone already,
because like the male is very easy to tell, right, whether what strain it is, but the female is the one that's the problem because you don't know what is the right female for that strain.
Yeah.
It has red tail, right, but it doesn't mean that it can go with any red tail, for example.
and then I guess like two, the food as well, important.
Yeah, food is important, very important.
And then like water changes.
Water change.
Just high quality,
Yeah.
clean water.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
The light.
Yeah, light.
The light, don't forget the light is important. But it doesn't mean like you need to turn the light all day long. Just, like
10 hours a day.
10 hours a
8
day.
to 10
turn
hours a
your
day.
light, Yeah. Do you know that you cannot turn off the light completely for the guppy?
Really?
Otherwise they jump out.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, mine turn off completely.
If you turn off completely, right, you need to make
Sure your lid's
sure
on
that
tight.
the lid is on. What I found is when I turn off the light completely, it's just a tip. Someone told me, the guppy tend to freak out, and then they, like
Want to
swim
escape.
into the wall of the tank and then jump out, things like that. How we found dead fish when I first doing it in here, all over the ground. And someone told me that you need to copy the moon.
So
and
put
then,
like a little night light.
yeah, so I just need to leave one of the light in here on one of them on. So
That helps fix
I don't
it
have
up.
that problem unless I fill up too much of water. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, that's
All right.
it. Hopefully everyone breeding guppies successfully.
Come buy some guppies from Nat.
Yeah.
Or me, but come to Nat first. All right.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
See ya.